Viktor Gyökeres is the most efficient striker in the last 25 years of Portuguese League history. He might not be the top scorer overall, but in just 2 seasons and a little over 50 matches, he jumps straight into the top 20 scorers of the past quarter century, with a goals per minute ratio that's simply unmatched. But unlike other breakout strikers before him, we're not seeing all of Europe drooling over Gyökeres. Even though he was literally a top 3 contender for the European Golden Boot, nobody seems that impressed. And the answer might seem obvious at first. No one trusts strikers coming out of the Portuguese League anymore. That might be your answer, but it's not mine. So today, I'm going to explain in detail the Gyökeres problem. In this video, we're going to break down the infamous skepticism around players from the Portuguese League, figure out whether it's justified, and highlight the specific issues with Gyökeres that are making top clubs hesitate to break the bank on him. So first, let me give you some context. Gyökeres is 27 years old. His young face and the fact that he's still playing at Sporting at that age might fool you, but this guy has been playing professionally since 2015. He made his debut with Broma Puicarna and quickly became key to the team, playing a crucial role in their return to the Swedish top flight after joining them when they had just been relegated to the 3rd tier. After that impressive spell, Gyökeres was one of the few bright spots for Sweden in the 2017 Under-19 Euros. They didn't win a single match, but Gyökeres scored 3 of their 4 goals in the group stage. Those performances caught the eye of Brighton's elite scouting department, and he was signed with the hope that he could soon become a Premier League star. But the truth is, he never really convinced anyone. It's not like he had world-class competition ahead of him, but Brighton still preferred the experienced and prolific Glenn Murray and later Neil Maupay, whose numbers seemed more reliable than the Swedish forward's potential. So Gyökeres was loaned out. First to St. Paul in the 2nd Bundesliga, and then to 2 championship clubs, Swansea and Coventry. He wasn't awful in any of those spells, he just never impressed enough to earn a serious shot at Brighton's first team. Since Coventry showed some interest, that's where he stayed. And that's where the rise of the deadly Gyökeres we know today truly began. In his first full season, he locked down a starting spot and didn't disappoint. Across 2 seasons, he scored 40 goals and added 17 assists. Those are numbers that definitely warranted a second chance in the Premier League, and by 2023 there were clearly clubs taking notice. But Viktor is a man of big ambitions. A return to a mid-table Premier League club came with huge risk and only hypothetical upside. He could easily get lost in the shuffle again and lose the momentum he was building as a goal machine. So when Sporting's offer came through, it looked a lot more appealing. After all, Sporting had recently won the league, were building a strong squad, and without disrespecting the Portuguese League, it doesn't take a world-class striker to rack up a shitload of goals and then make a big move abroad. It was the perfect plan, and it worked out even better than Gyökeres or his agent could have imagined. 2 seasons, 2 league titles, 1 Portuguese Cup, top scorer in both league campaigns. In his last one, he was even in the Golden Boot race until the very end. You'd have to be blind not to see that this is the perfect time for him to leave Sporting as a legend and move on to the brightest lights European football has to offer. But there's a problem. Actually, several problems. First off, no matter how much Gyökeres wants to leave, it's not up to him. Clubs need to show interest, and his current employer needs to be willing to let him go. Now, it's not like there's no interest. I mean, what club wouldn't want a natural-born goal scorer like Gyökeres? The issue is that no one wants to pay the €80 million price tag set by Sporting president Frederico Varandas. Right now, the most serious interest is coming from Arsenal, but as of the time I'm recording this video, the Gunners are still far from meeting the €8 million fee. The rumored offer is around 55 million plus 10 million in add-ons. So, is this just negotiation tactics, or is there something more going on? Honestly, both. First, Sporting are financially stable. They're in no rush whatsoever to sell the best player they've had in the 21st century. Second, the days of clubs throwing around 100 million euros like it's nothing seem to be over, especially after Chelsea's reckless spending in 2023. Even Premier League clubs are now a lot more cautious. On top of that, top clubs now look at players as projects, as investments. And while 27 isn't necessarily old, it's also not an age where you expect massive resale value. Sure, lots of strikers perform well into their 30s, but an €80 million move for Gyökeres would be purely about short-term sporting impact, not financial upside. Then there's the fact that he plays in the Portuguese League, which currently has a terrible reputation when it comes to strikers. There's a long list of expensive signings who flopped or never lived up to their price tag. Jackson Martinez, Slimani, Darwin Núñez, Taremi, Gonçalo Ramos. That alone is enough to make clubs hesitate. But there's more. Stuff that Sporting probably doesn't want potential buyers to know. The truth is, Gyökeres has been carefully managed to extract maximum performance despite constantly dealing with an injury to his left leg. This issue never made headlines. Most sources only mention recurring adductor problems, but that's just the tip of the iceberg. Last season, he had an LCL injury that, combined with heavy physical demands, led to meniscus problems. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean a player can't compete, but unless he gets surgery, he'll always be somewhat limited. And surgery is exactly what happened after the 2023-24 season. Gyökeres had a meniscus operation and returned in under 3 months, so given that information, it was almost certainly an arthroscopic partial meniscectomy. Whatever the fuck. Regardless of the name, this type of surgery removes the damaged part of the meniscus instead of stitching it up. Pain usually goes away quickly, but here's the issue. Gyökeres continued to struggle with the same leg during the 2024-25 season. In Sweden's recent international fixtures, he was even sent home with no official explanation. It's the kind of thing you might not notice day to day, but if your game depends on explosiveness, dribbling, and taking contact, you're in deep trouble. Let's be real, in Portugal he was protected, but Gyökeres' entire game relies heavily on physicality. He might make a full recovery, I'm not ruling that out at all, but moving to a league that's way more physical, that's a big concern. So, not only would his strengths become less dominant, his unstable knee might become an even bigger liability. Still, Gyökeres could absolutely smash it. He might recover 100%, silence the doubters, and prove wrong all the dramatic takes from YouTubers like me. Honestly, I hope he does. The Portuguese League desperately needs to fix its broken image when it comes to exporting players. That bad rep is one of the reasons why top clubs aren't so keen in investing big time in talent from Portugal anymore. And if we're being honest, betting on strikers from Liga Portugal BetClick is a high risk, low reward move right now. I mean, how many strikers have actually succeeded after leaving Portugal? Falcão, Evanilson, Jimenez, Diogo Jota? I'll be honest, those weren't even the first names that popped into my head. I thought about Taremi, Bas Dost, Darwin, André Silva, Jackson Martinez. All strikers were goal machines in Portugal, then saw a massive drop-off in efficiency. Interestingly, most of the successful cases weren't bought by clubs expecting to win the league. Falcão went to Atletico at a time when Barca and Real were untouchable. Atletico just needed to guarantee a podium finish. He replaced Forlan and Agüero with zero pressure and became a star. Diogo Jota started out as a young prospect at Paços de Ferreira, got picked up by Atletico, then went through Porto and Wolves before hitting his peak at Liverpool. Evanilson joined Bournemouth instead of making a huge leap to a top club. But regardless, to any Gunners watching this, are you really better off betting on an unproven Sesko or a Gyökeres who, even if his goal tally dropped to a third, would still outperform your top scorer this season? Gyökeres has everything it takes to change the narrative. What if he's the missing piece Arsenal needs to win their first league title in 22 years? Who knows, maybe it will be the Swedish prodigy who ends up redefining the image of a striker from Liga Portugal. But what do you think? Will Gyökeres tear it up once he leaves Sporting, or will his body betray him? Let me know in the comments, and if you want more Portuguese football content on your feed, subscribe to Throne FC. We are so close to hitting 10,000 subs, something I never imagined would be possible just by talking about what I love the most. But enough begging. I know you're curious about what's coming next in the Portuguese League. What will Sporting look like without Gyökeres? What's going to happen with Benfica during a chaotic election year? Can Porto bounce back from one of the worst seasons in their history? And Braga, always the wild card. Nobody ever really knows what to expect. I'll cover all of that in this video and give you a different perspective on what the next few years of Portuguese football could look like. I'll see you there.